After a human takes the red pill, they wake up in the real world, a hellish nightmare from which they cannot escape. The newly awakened will have to seek refuge in Zion and join the resistance in a war for survival, a battle ironically manipulated by the very machines they are trying to destroy. The Oracle plays a leading role in controlling Zion. The best way to control your enemies is by leading them, and the red pills are so desperate and hopeless that they don't realize that the Oracle is manipulating them. But how did the red pills come to believe in the Oracle, and what similarities does this have to real life? What if in our world there are different procedures similar to those used on the red pills? Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Before we go on, we would like to announce the winner of our recent giveaway, Matrix Spider-Man. Congratulations! Make sure to send us an email or direct message on our social medias so we can send you your prize. Steven Hassan is an expert cult psychologist who has worked with different intelligence groups around the world to try to develop a tool to define which groups are cults or control and brainwashing groups. The tool or model that he has developed is known as the byte model of authoritarian control. This model is used today to know how destructive or sectarian groups are. Using this model, we can know if indeed the inhabitants of Zion are a cult and how destructive they are to themselves. The byte model is divided into 4 columns: behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. Behavior control is the trait that is defined as regulating an individual's physical reality. The sects usually transport the recruits to isolated locations far from their relatives to control them. This occurs the moment a red pill awakens and is sent to Zion.
Welcome to the real world.
In Zion, the people's lives are regulated. Here they are told what to eat, how to dress, or even how they can interact with each other. There will be restrictions and punishments for not following orders.
Careful, Commander.
Forgive my frustration, counselors. I wish I were able to comprehend the Council's choice in this matter.
Comprehension is not a requisite of cooperation.
Absolute obedience is required. Individualism is discouraged, and the group will act as a collective.
This is Zion, and we are not afraid!
These actions classify Zion as a place where human behavior is controlled. And although it does not go to similar lengths seen in extremist groups, these are the basis for the brainwashing that results in these 4 control types mentioned earlier. So does Zion meet the qualifications described in the byte model? Next, we have information control. Deception plays a part in this type of control.
It was a lie, Morpheus. The prophecy was a lie. The One was never meant to end anything.
The Oracle plays a big role in this deception. She helped create the religion of the One with prophecies that would never come true, only to perpetuate the Matrix cycle. The information about the war that the people of Zion have access to is very limited.
We have only bits and pieces of information.
Humans only know what the machines allow them to. Another feature in this column is to minimize information outside the cult or control group. Morpheus only follows the orders of the Oracle and the information provided by her, ignoring the concerns of the people in Zion as to why they should follow the prophecy of the One. The byte model also compartmentalizes information into outsider versus insider doctrines, which means to ensure that information is not freely accessible, control information at different levels and missions within the group, and allow only leadership to decide who needs to know what and when. This describes the red pills to a T.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
The leaders of Zion decide which potentials deserve to be awakened. Nobody told Neo what the Matrix is. He had to escape it first and go through an initiation process to become a red pill. Cypher criticized this during his rant.
If you would have told us the truth, we would have told you to shove that red pill right up your ass.
The implantation of false information and memories is also part of information control, uploading information and propaganda into the minds of the red pills. The next phase is thought control.
Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
This phase requires members to internalize the group's doctrine as true. This consists of adopting the group's map of reality as reality, instill black and white thinking, decide between good versus evil, and organize people into us versus them, insiders versus outsiders. Morpheus is the one who introduces and imparts this new doctrine to the newly arrived red pills. He is also the leader that perpetuates the us versus them mentality.
If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
Changing the human's name in Zion is part of this column.
Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
My name
Is Neo.
Meditative rituals or chanting and provocative group dancing are also part of thought control. This phase is when the red pills must believe that the Oracle is a benevolent prophet and that the One is the savior of humanity, though he is a remnant of meaningless prophecies. This fulfills the trait of the rejection of rational analysis, critical thinking, or constructive criticism. This attitude is exemplified by Haman and the other council members, who rejected Locke's concerns in regards to Morpheus and the One.
Free your mind.
Teaching thought-preventing techniques is a form of mind control, a way to shut out reality. Now what of the last column? Emotional control. Emotional control is to manipulate and narrow the range of feelings or emotions. Some emotions and or needs are deemed as evil, wrong, or selfish. The woman in the red dress shows that certain emotions are dangerous and could lead to death, though Mouse contradicts Morpheus by believing that certain emotions are what makes us human.
To deny our own impulses is to deny the very thing that makes us human.
Despair plays a big part in this phase. After waking up in the real world, the red pills have nothing. No food, no place to live, no clothes to wear. They are newly born babies, so to speak. They have no choice but to accept everything that is told to them as truth because there is nothing else. They can't return to their lives in the Matrix.
I can't go back, can I?
No.
The people of Zion live in uncertainty and fear. One peculiar characteristic of this phase is phobia indoctrination, inculcating irrational fears about leaving the group or questioning the leader's authority. In other words, those who dare leave Zion will die, or at least that is what they are led to believe. There is never a legitimate reason to leave. Those who leave are weak, undisciplined, unspiritual, worldly. Neo takes this form of control a step further. Although the red pills suffer from the aforementioned emotional control, Neo has a type of emotional control programmed into him. The One is programmed with the predication of love to create empathy and to facilitate its purpose. Neo goes through all 4 phases of mind control with the extra programmed emotion and manipulation. Under the byte control model, we can define with all certainty that Zion is a cult, a group of mind-controlled and brainwashed red pills. The red pills go through personality reconstruction. Their past and previous selves are erased. Their behaviors and emotions are changed and controlled with fabricated information and beliefs or thoughts. They are new people under the control of the group known as Zion. This is why Thomas Anderson is a completely different person from Neo, a complete deconstruction of individuality, transforming Mr. Anderson into a slave of the Oracle. Now then, since we can define Zion as a brainwashing group or cult, could we label the Oracle as their leader? What tools does the Oracle use to manipulate people into believing in her? Those questions will be answered in a future video. But do you agree? Is Zion a cult, a control group of brainwashers? Does the byte model accurately define Zion? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.